The following footage is brought to you by WouldyouKindly.com.
A long time ago, when I was starting YouTube, I discovered one of my favorite fighting game series from SNK, and that was the Last Blade series. I reviewed the Dreamcast port of the second game, and if you know anything about Neo Geo games, they ain't cheap. And unless there's a port somewhere, you won't be playing unless you be paying. But thank goodness for things like Nintendo's Virtual Console, because people can experience one of the best fighting games on the Neo Geo, and that is The Last Blade. Originally released in 1999 for the Neo Geo AES and ported to other platforms in Japan, we Westerners haven't had a way to play this game without spending hundreds of dollars. But what makes The Last Blade so awesome? Find out in this episode of The Game Machine. It starts now. The Last Blade has a story, but sadly, like most fighters of its day, it wasn't told much. However, what is there is pretty interesting. So during the Bakumatsu era in Japan, it was a time where the old government was becoming more modern, and Western influences were changing the culture. If you're like me and you love Rurouni Kenshin, then you will know all about this time period in Japan's history. If history isn't your thing, how about four guardians who are trying to keep the gates of hell sealed? And we all know if that door opens, it ain't gonna be good. One of the guardians decided he doesn't like humans anymore and he wants to open it, and the other guardians are like, no way. And then you got other characters such as Kiede, who are searching for the killer of his master, and he can also summon the power of Seiryu. Or, for the layman, oh my gosh, he turned into a Super Saiyan! Sadly, you'll never get a ton out of the story. Also, some of the text looks like they had Google Translator before it was even a thing. But even what little story is there, it still can be charming. If you were rich enough to have a Neo Geo in the 90s, you knew why it was a 2D king. Other than the story taking inspiration from Rurouni Kenshin, the design seems to have borrowed from it as well. They all look and animate great, and the sprites are full of detail. Stage backgrounds are very active and very lively. The weather effects and other animations just look so good and don't slow down the gameplay. Not to mention the sweet looking intros in the beginning are so nice. Its soundtrack is equally incredible. While this is based on the cartridge version and not the CD, the music isn't orchestrated, but it still sounds amazing. What's also amazing is it won't have the load times of the Neo Geo CD, and trust me, you could take a dump and make a sandwich quicker than you could loading a game on that thing. Sound effects are great and can play a big role in stages sometimes. Instead of having music playing, sometimes you're just treated to ambient sounds such as dogs barking at night or rain to a rainstorm, just to name a few. It's little things like that that help add a great atmosphere. Another cool note, Guilty Gear creator Daisuke Ishiwari was one of the developers on this game, before he went on to make one of the best fighting game series that he became famous for. And if anyone knows how to make an awesome looking 2D game, and great sounding, it's that guy. Can a fighting game from 1997 really have great gameplay that stands out even today? Oh yeah, it's freaking awesome! Like its predecessor, Samurai Showdown, it's a 2D weapon fighter. So you can't just rush in unless you want to get cut. You have a button that repels attacks or parries it. When you hit it just at the right time, you can do a counterattack. Also, before a fight, you can pick from two gameplay types. You can pick a power mode that makes your attack stronger, but you can't get as many hits in. Whereas the speed mode, otherwise known as the offensive orgy mode? Okay, I'm serious, I'm not making that up. That's what it says. Someone should really fire their translator. Speed makes it easier to chain more moves together, but you really have weaker attacks. The gameplay can be quite challenging. You must approach each fight carefully without rushing, and parrying at the wrong time will get you in trouble. On top of the great gameplay, you'll get a handful of modes such as time attack mode, versus mode, story mode, training mode, and one called short mode which lets you play 4 fights and you have more life than the enemy. Don't know why that's there, but we'll roll with it. This game is 900 points on the Wii Virtual Console. You might think $9 is a lot for an old game, but let me put this into perspective. The Neo Geo AES cart of this game is super pricey. I paid $120 for mine. Yes, I did spend that much on a game, but it was worth it to me. Then the Neo Geo CD version is $20, however the load times are crap. On top of that, you need to spend at least $200 to $300 just for the machines to play these. So I think $9 is a no-brainer for this game. So if you want an amazing fighting game to play by yourself or with friends, you should play this gem, because not only is it hard to find, but it's not that well known, and it's up to gamers like us to let the world know about these amazing games that time forgot. This and its sequel, The Last Blade 2, are my favorite games that SNK has ever produced, and once you play it, you'll know why it's awesome. So till next time guys, game on.